80% of the problems that happen from a security standpoint are because the employee doesn't know what the heck they're doing. They open something they're not supposed to. They need training. They don't know what they're supposed to open. No one's told them to go and mouse over that thing and see if it's going where it's supposed to be going. Nobody's told them that they shouldn't open an attachment, right? They need training. They need somebody to train them. Another reason, two-factor authentication for sure in a business. Every site that I have that controls or lets me access any data for any of my client, I have two-factor authentication turned on. You're not going to get in it. You can even know my password and you're not going to get in it because you don't have this application running that's changing the code every minute. A backup we talked about earlier. Now, for sure in a business, you want to be able to say, backup, businesses have things we call servers. It's where all your information is kept. We want to say, I want to restore that server as of an exact point. If you don't have that capability, you can be out of business. There's a concept called an image level backup, and that basically says, I just want the ones and zeros that are on this disk platter. I don't want files, I just want the ones and zeros. I want to know exactly what that disk looked like at any given moment so that I can take a snapshot of it, like say every 15 minutes, and if all of a sudden I find out I got infected over here, I just go back and I say, let's restore it right here, boom. And if I'm a business and I can be back and running in 20 minutes after I've been completely infected, this is a good thing. It's out there, it does work, and it's not as expensive as people think. Your laptops or your desktops, you can actually encrypt data, which basically means make it where nobody else can read it if they don't know your password. So, you know, you've got a business laptop, whatever, you take it away, somebody steals it or you lose it. They log in, let's say they can figure out your password, they can't, they change it. Now they're in, they see all your data. If it's encrypted and they try to bust your password, they try to change it, as soon as they log in on that account, all that data is unreadable to them, okay? Very important. A lot of clients do it with their desktops too, because what if somebody breaks into the room, breaks into the business and steals the desktops and leaves? They need to have those encrypted as well. And they'll tell you all these things that are out there. They'll say, make sure you update those patches. Remember there's like, what, 300,000 people were hit because they didn't have the latest patches? Updates from Microsoft, put those on. All these third-party programs that we use, and we have like, what, Adobe, Reader, PDF, Java, all these weird things. Keep updating those, keep those updated. There's a way to actually say, I only want these programs to ever run on this computer. If anything else tries to run, don't let it. It's called whitelisting, and that's really cool too, because that'll stop a lot of things as well. Whatever you're using, we're almost done. Whatever you're using as a standard login to do your work, it needs to have what we call limited permissions. When people get a computer, first thing it does is it says enter your name, and you'll either say Joe or Ralph or whatever, and by default it gives you administrative rights to the whole machine, which means you can do anything and everything you ever want to do. So if I'm logged in to a computer that has administrative rights, which means I can do anything, and it gets infected, now that infection can do anything. Make sense? If I change the rights of that login to a limited rights, it can't install programs now. So now that infection may not be able to do what it wanted to do. So what I have two accounts on my computer. I have an administrator account, not named administrator because that's the one they're going to try to hack first. I named something else that I can use to install programs, uninstall programs. And then I have my own account that can't do anything but just run my business. Okay? That's one of the things you're going to want to do. Most everybody violates that. So I say 99% of people violate that one. This is basically the same thing. Okay, yeah, for business, you want a local account that can do things. And again, there's an account called administrator, which is what the one everybody goes after. So you disable that one and you create another one that does the same thing so people can't hack into it. Got 3 left. Everybody needs to change passwords and they need to make them complex? No, not password 1, 2, 3 exclamation point. No, that's the first character that the guys look at when password 1, 2, 3 doesn't work. They stick an exclamation point to it. And no, not P @ SSWORD. Oh yeah, hey, we're going to use the @ sign for all the A's. No one will ever figure that one out. Wrong. Please, obviously don't use any part of your social security number, your military dog, whatever dog tag number you may have had, or anniversary dates or birthdays. Leave all those numbers out of it. One of the things that I do is, in my password scheme, somewhere in it was my favorite race car driver's number. Yeah. And I haven't posted on social media telling everybody who my favorite race car driver is. Right, so use something else and throw some special characters in there, like a minus sign, an @ sign, a star, but something you can remember, but that somebody's not going to guess it. And we talked earlier about the spam and antivirus. For businesses, there's no excuse for this. You've got to be ready to recover. So there's two pieces of the stuff. I don't want to get attacked in the first place. There's no guarantees. Anybody ever stand up in front of you and say, you put this software on and you'll never get, no. There's no absolutes in this game. You can do the best you can possibly do. You just better make sure that over here where you planned, you're ready to recover and you can recover fast. And if you're a business, there's things you got to decide. Okay, if I'm a doctor's office and I got to be back up in less than 20 minutes, there's a solution for that. If I'm a landscaping company and I'd be down for 2 days, there's a solution for that. And of course, it's not as expensive as the doctor's office. If I can be down for a week, I don't know of any business that can, but if I can, then there's a less expensive option. But you want to always have the ability to recover. On a business, you got to have a firewall. Basically, it's something that sits at the perimeter of your network, and it has a whole bunch of what we call ports, which is like windows, right? It's analogous to leaving your house with all of the windows and doors open and going to work or going to see the grandkids or whatever, right? There's a good chance that somebody might walk in. So with your firewall, you want to lock as many windows, they call them ports, as you can. Turn them, close them. You want to also make sure that people can't go to the porn site. Okay? You want to also make sure that if anything's trying to get in that we already know is suspicious, that it gets blocked. And not only does it get blocked, but somebody gets alerted. Whoever's taking care of their technology gets alerted so that they can look at it and make sure everything's okay. Well, that's coming in. What about going out? I want to know if somebody's going out to some place they shouldn't be, which tells me that there's an infection on that machine and I need to fix it. Whether it's blocked or not, I don't care. There's still an infection I got to get rid of off of that machine. And yeah, it'd be a really good idea to make sure that North Korea and China and Russia can't get into your computer. Firewalls have the ability to say, look, I want to block these countries. Boom, boom, boom. You just click countries. So what do? They host their stuff on an American place. They're still doing it, and then they come in and, there's always workarounds. But for sure, you want to stop the countries. Last item is mobile devices. We talked about how they're attacking them, right, all the time. There's applications out there now for the mobile devices that create a little cocoon that supposedly nobody else can get in. And in this cocoon, they have your email, special things, all your different files that you may want that are supposedly isolated from the rest of your phone. So theoretically, notice I'm using a lot of non-committal words. Supposedly, and I'm using it, they can't get into that encrypted area. And the nice part about it is you can flip a switch. The provider can flip a switch if you lose it. Oh, let's say you leave it at Starbucks or wherever you're having coffee. You call your provider, they can flip a check mark, and it will remove that container from your phone. It's gone. So everything that you had business related is now gone from the phone. Oh man, I found it. I found my phone. Call the provider. Check the box. It just mysteriously shows up again. Pretty cool. And we got some cool stuff with technology. All right, so this is it. We're done. You got to get serious about protecting your family and your company against cybercrime.